Hey Tim, this is so fascinating. How has this experience changed you?
It's definitely eye-opening. It's you look at something and some people might believe, some people might not believe, but when you live it and you see it and you have the documentation and you can back the documentation up, with facts, there's no other way but to know that it's real.
Hey Tim, thank you so much for meeting me here in beautiful Delray Beach.
It's my pleasure.
So I understand you have some amazing stories to tell.
There are a lot of stories. I have one about a house if you'd like to hear about it.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Sure. Where would you like to go?
Let's just sit over there at the shade. Hey Tim, I see you got a lot of good stuff to show me. So
I do. I have a lot of pictures and some documentation about this house that I own that has come up to have I believe six children that live in the house that have made themselves known to me.
Wow. Okay, let's start from the beginning. How did you come about, get in this house?
I grew up in this town and I found this house that was a bargain. It was dilapidated, so I decided to buy it. And after I bought it and started working on it, these things started happening. And when they started happening, I started doing research on the house to find out where it came from, how it became, and stuff like that.
Oh, what kind of things were happening?
Well, when I first bought the house, I moved into it to start working on it, and it just seemed like nothing would go right. So the first day there, I tried to open up windows, they wouldn't open. And then that particular night when I was at the house, the doors started slamming, one door, and I hooked it because that's what they had back in the old days. And it continued to happen. The next door started banging and the next door started banging. So eventually I walked out to the front of the house and I said, look, I'm here to help, believing that there was something going on in there. I said, I'm here to help and I need to get some sleep. So the next morning when I woke up, all the windows would open up with no problem. And I started the day.
Wow, like the house gave you permission.
It's kind of like the house gave me permission or I was asking the house for permission.
Amazing. And you have the pictures of the house?
I do. This is one of the pictures of the house when I first bought it. And
where is this house located?
It's up in Maryland. It's in a historical district in Maryland.
Beautiful home.
Which everybody is familiar with Maryland having, a lot of haunted situations up there.
Mm-hmm.
But we went back and I finally started doing research of what the house looked like from the beginning because I wanted to bring it back to its original glory.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful home.
It was huge. It was 3,900 square feet, and it was built by a shipbuilder named Elisha James Tull. He was the second mayor of the town, and I have his documentation here that came from an excerpt in a book about his shipbuilding company, which was directly maybe 200 yards up the street from where the house was built.
Wow.
And he used the wood from the shipbuilding company to build the house. Whatever was left over is what he built the house with.
That's how they did it back then.
That's when they did it in the back. But some of the things that I found in the house on the first go around was, like I said, the windows wouldn't open, but when I asked the house for permission, it would let me open it. Then I noticed that there would be things like my tools. My tools would be scattered up the stairwell. And I would ask somebody that was helping me, did they do that? And they said, no. So all these little things started to come out with things happening. So it was the tools first, and then I started walking through the house and I found this rocking horse. The rocking horse had a busted head on it, but I could tell that it was hand built. So I'm presuming that it was built by Elisha James Tull. I put it back together, put the rocking horse inside the house, and the next morning it was outside on the porch again.
It almost sounds like little things that kids would do, right?
Little things that kids would do. And that's one thing that I heard when I was working is I heard electrical boxes being slid across the floor. So I walked up and they were in one corner, but they were in the next corner the next time. So obviously it was something small, some children or something like that. So that led me to look into the house's background. Up until this point, it was only owned by one person for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
I did the background check, found out that it was the second mayor of this particular town that built the house. And then while I was working on the house, I found a book that was written by an author explaining about Mr. Tull and about his woodworking and his shipbuilding. And it was actually written for his great-great-grandson. So when he was in town, I contacted the author and I told her, that the book was wrong. And because in the book it says that the house burned down. And I told her, I said, no, it didn't burn down. I said, if it did, I have the best looking house.
Right, you have the house.
So that's when she said, well, come meet Mr. Tull, Stanley Tull. So I did.
Incredible.
And when he talked to him, he said, what are you doing here? You don't have any connection to the family. I said, no, I bought your house. And so he went and looked at the house. And on the way there, he told me this story about how it had 6 porches and it was used as a tuberculosis house in the old days. So when he saw it, he was in awe. He couldn't believe that I had that particular house. Then I started doing the research after he gave me his family tree with his family history. I was able to piece together like some of the deaths that occurred in the house prior to him dying in 1924. And some of the things that I found out were that there was a bunch of children in there that had passed away from the beginning of, back in the old days, they had a short lifespan. So I looked at his documentation and found that many of the children died within the first 1 or 2 years of their lives in the house.
Makes a lot of sense.
It does. When I was uncovering things going in the garage and stuff like that, or in the old stable, it was a stable, carriage stable, I found some bones and stuff like that were mostly animal bones, but then I found what appeared to be, to me, looked human.
Yeah.
I had them.
It's a creepy looking picture.
Yeah, I know. It was unnerving. I had the police come out and they looked at stuff and said, yeah, it could be not. But what I also found was when I was cleaning out that stable carriage, I took a picture of it. And it wasn't until a couple of months later that somebody noticed a figure up in the upstairs of the window.
I see it. It's right there.
Right?
On the bottom left corner.
Bottom left-hand side.
Yeah.
But it didn't make sense because the picture is somebody of about 7 or 8 years old. And until I got the documentation from Mr. Tull with his family lineage tree,
wow, look at this.
Being an older child that it looks like, I went back to Mr. Tull's paperwork and I found that this particular son died in 9 years in the house. So I did the research and found his gravestone in the local cemetery, which it looks like a 3, but I guess it was actually a 9, which explains why the child looks like a 9-year-old.
Right, doesn't look like a toddler. It looks like a child.
Look like a toddler.
Yeah, that makes more sense. How's standing now?
The house, it took me about 1.5 years to bring it from its original look, like this, and then after I took off the front end of it, I realized that this was actually the house that was built by Mr. Tull. And this is the picture of it this is a 1901 picture.
Beautiful home.
This is what it looked like a year after working on it.
Wow.
So I was putting it back original, but some of the things that were going on inside the house while I was doing the original stuff was I had to replace floorboards. One of the areas where I was replacing, I couldn't get it up. I tried using a skill saw, I used a chainsaw, and then my wife at the time brought me upstairs and we saw an orb. And she was like, I can't believe this. So we again explained to the house that, yes, it might be painful now, but I'm trying to put you back normal. And then the floor came right up with no problem. I was able to fix it.
Tell me more about the orb.
Well, it was interesting. I was downstairs working, and my wife, not in a panic mode, but like, Tim, get up here really quick. And I'm going, yeah, whatever. Because she was just upstairs sweeping. So I walk up the back stairs, which is the servants' quarters stairs, and halfway up the stairways, it gets really cold. So I'm going, well, okay, maybe it's just colder upstairs. Once I get in there, she goes, do you see that? And I'm looking at the window, and there's an orb. It's about
that
this big.
Wow.
And believe it or not, I kind of blew on it to see if it was like smoke or dust, but it wasn't.
Was it just sitting there? Was it moving?
It was 1.5 feet off the ground, just kind of like it was looking out the window.
Wow, amazing.
So I again explained to the house that we're trying to fix you. You know, it's going to hurt some because at this point in time, I feel that the house is actually alive. You know, so I fix it and get downstairs or look at the orb and get back downstairs, and the floor just comes up easily. It was unbelievable.
Wow, like again, it gave you permission.
Like it gave me permission. Once I got that done and started putting everything back together, everything started to go back together very easily. One of the fixes that I had to do to the house was to jack the whole house up on one side to put in a big beam. I did it with a car jack, a little car jack.
Really?
Unheard of.
Wow.
You know,
so it was cooperating. It was letting you.
It was obviously helping me
fix her. Amazing. Yeah, the house had a personality.
The house definitely has a personality. One of the things that was interesting too is in the midst of putting it back together, when Mr. Tull, Stanley Tull, was over at the house, he was looking at the woodwork because his great-great-grandfather was a wood builder, a shipbuilder, and I do woodworking myself. And I was pointing out these polished pin joints. Polished pin joints are what are used by shipbuilders. And I showed them to him up in the walls and where the beams were pin jointed together. And he made a comment. He goes, that looks like what I've heard about my great-grandfather or his great-great-grandfather.
That must have been an emotional moment, right?
So he was very emotional. But what was even more emotional was the bird that flew out from upstairs and went out the door.
No way.
And it was just a black crow. A black crow went
right at that specific moment.
At that specific time.
You know that they say that wood, being from nature, it holds a lot of emotion too. And yeah, absolutely.
I do a lot of woodworking, and I like woodworking because it does have, you know, it's alive.
It's alive. It absorbs
it is alive.
The energy and the feelings around it.
Everything.
Wow, love the stories. Hey Tim, this is so fascinating. How has this experience changed you?
It's definitely eye-opening. It's you know, you look at something and some people might believe, some people might not believe, but when you live it and you see it and you have the documentation and you can back the documentation up, you know, with facts, there's no other way but to know that it's real.
Wow, Tim, what an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you all for watching and stay tuned for more.
Delray Beach, the village by the sea. From Michigan and Nassau, they paved the way for you and me. The scorching heat and lack of everyday things. Who knew the history that journey would bring? The spirits and ghosts all dance with me. They keep the waves strong for the sailors at sea. Do you feel them here with Bahamian cheer? All the 300 years of indigenous pioneers, they protected the reefs and now immaculate beach. The accomplished divers and pirates of the sea. The scorching heat and lack of everyday things. Who knew the history that journey would bring? They created the world that we now see. A city for everyone like you and me. celebrate the settlers of Delray Beach. From the African waters through the Red Sea, it was the blended ancestors here before me. We feel their love in the ocean breeze, a beautiful world they created for around to see. Delray Beach, a pioneer's jubilee, a city for everyone like you and me. Delray Beach, a pioneer's jubilee, where the gold fell from the sailors of the sea. Delray Beach, where the spirits and ghosts all dance with me. May God bless them all.